Oh shit. Hey, I knew it. Hey. Hey, heart was about to drop. Heart was about to drop. Heart was about to drop. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Oh man. Alright, okay. Let's get into the tutorial, guys. Yo, what is up, guys? It's your man, I Do It Barber, and I am back with another haircut tutorial. And in this one, we're doing my man's, whatever you want to call this hairstyle. I have no idea what this is called, but it's a drop fade, clean lines and all that. But in this one, I will only be using clippers, trimmers, and a comb. No guards were hurt or killed in the production of this video. Killed maybe, but as you see, I'm putting in my first skin line with the lever closed on my adjustables, and I'm just creating the first guideline. So now I'm coming right underneath that with the 5-0 blade on my detachable blade clipper. This is what I use to bald out, remove bulk, and sometimes even fade with. But as you see, he comes in every week, so I'm just getting that little bit of extra removed on the bottom because of course that does make a difference. And we got to get this done before we get into our fade. So once it comes time for me to remove that initial guideline I created, it will be easy to remove it because I put it in with the lever closed. So as you see now, I have the lever open and I'm creating, you can call this a 1-inch guideline, right? Like it looks pretty small. I mean, you call it what you want. Typically we say it's about an inch guideline, but this guideline is pretty shallow compared to some of my other videos that you may have seen where I'm really going up a good inch, right? So what we're gonna do is, after this is created, we're gonna work the lever halfway, then closed to remove the line. So as you see, I'm halfway with that lever, and there isn't much hair there to be faded, and it's part of the reason why I came in with a shallow guideline, because you see his hair is not that dark through there. It's compared to others, you know, the density is just not quite there as you might see on someone who has very thick or coarse, dense hair. And with this client, if you're curious, like, why did I use just only the comb with him? And I have a few other clients where I actually like fading their hair with just using the comb. It actually comes out better than using the guards, and it's actually quicker. So I've been meaning to do this haircut for a while. I just finally was like, yo, let's do it. Because typically he comes in on Friday. Actually, not typically. He always comes in on the Friday. And it's a little bit hard to do a haircut tutorial on the Friday, guys. So if you're a barber, just imagine trying to shoot a haircut tutorial on a Friday or Saturday when you're busy. So now I'm coming in with the lever open with the thick side of the comb. So you'll see I will use both sides of the comb, and this is like basically a 1.5. This is like if you see someone after the taper open guideline, they'll come in with the 1.5 and put another 1-inch guideline. This is what I'm essentially doing, but with the comb. And now I've closed the lever on this, and now I'm coming in. So essentially this is like me closing the lever on the one guard, which is the one closed, and then I'm slowly removing the guideline. So as you see, it's starting to fade out already, and I'm still using the thick part of the comb. Eventually on this taper comb, I'll flip it over and I'll use the small side of it, which I wouldn't say it's a 0. It's almost like in between a 1 and a 0. So it doesn't quite remove it totally, but you'll see some little tricks that I'll use to remove this little weight line. And that little trick is right here. So you see me, I'm flicking a lot, and I'm really lightly attacking that line, but really pay close attention to the angle of the clipper. You may want to rewind that again, but you'll see me do it again here in the tutorial. I'm coming in at a really steep angle. I'm not keeping the blade flat, if you're curious. You know, a lot of people say keep the blade flat, but in this scenario, it's better if I don't keep the blade flat. If I had the blade flat as high as I am in that fade at that point, I would create a whole nother line or raise the fade up, which is what I don't want to do. By me changing the lever, or not the lever, but the angle and the steepness of the clipper, it creates a longer length. So instead of me having to use a half or a 0 guard, I can just change the angle of the blade and create the same effect. So a little tip for you guys, if that ever happens and you don't want to go grab your 0 or your half, you can do that. And now I'm doing the same thing with the back. Now in the back, I have to be careful not to bring this too high, because obviously the shape of his hair on top dictates this. And also right above where the weight is where his head starts to round in the back. So if I take it too far up, it's doomsday for his shape and style. So I'm just coming in with the lever open, which is essentially a 1.5. And I'm just basically putting in a guideline. Essentially, I'm putting in a guideline. And I actually and you see there, I just closed it. So now we're working our way down. As you see, I'm not going as high into that area. I'm just coming in, and you can see the area lighten already. But the thing is, with this clipper and comb, I really like it sometimes because you can really come in here and get work done really fast. So now you see I've switched over the comb and I'm trying to attack this area in the back. And this is actually another reason why I like using the comb with him, because in the back, his hair grows every which way. And if I were to just be using guards, it'd be really tricky to try and get in here and create a fade with his hair like this. There'd be a lot of notching, a lot of tapping. And with the comb, I find it's really easy just to get things done with his hair, just using the comb, because the comb, it's gonna pick up everything, which is kind of why I like using detachables, because with detachables, they pick up the hair and they cut clean. And with this comb, I'm literally coming in and I can literally see all the hairs being picked up into the comb. And another thing about clipper over comb, or just fading with a comb, you can create very detailed lengths with the comb and the clipper. Then you can't, it's really hard to replicate it with guards, guys. I'm gonna be honest, it's really hard to replicate some lengths that you can create with the clipper and the comb with the guard. And that's another reason why I like using this the comb to fade with him. So as you see here, I'm just going back up a little bit higher. It's almost like I'm not coming in as deep as I am coming in as deep, but if you pay close attention, I'm swooping out with the comb. I'm angling the comb out, which is essentially like a 2 or a 2.5. So instead of me using like a 2 guard or whatever some people might use with this, I'm creating that same effect, which is exactly why I love using the comb. I sound like a broken record right now, but as you can see, the fade looks pretty good. We're still going to detail a little bit. I see some little things there, and as you see, I'm really focusing more now on the parietal ridge area and just trying to lighten up some of these areas. You see, I'm doing a little bit of freehanding just to make sure the shape is okay and the hair flows into the top. And now I'm just coming back in. But you really have to know what you're doing if you're using this technique, because it's really easy to mess up, because you can come in here and just do too much. You know what I'm saying? You could just do too much extra. So you got to know what you're doing. But it's essentially, if you know how to fade with guards, it's the same thing. Most combs is a 1, the thickest part of the comb. Most of them is a 1. Open the lever on it, slap the comb on top of it, that's a 1.5. And it's pretty easy, guys. I highly recommend that you guys try this on some of your clients, because most of the time you have a comb in your hand. So hey, why not try and fade with it instead of playing with the little rinky dink guards? So as you see, we did the little detail work, and now we're going to create the shape, because he likes his to not go straight up. He likes it to angle or mushroom out. And I'm just freehanding and I'm just following the shape. I'm not trying to remove an excess amount of hair on the sides. I'm just really trying to create and maintain that shape that we have worked for. So now I've got the lever open and I'm going in and I'm prepping the hairline for me to start lining them up. So now I'm just basically raking with this. I'm raking at his hairline for me to come back in with the trimmer. So as you see, I'm starting in the middle and I'm gonna work my way out. If you guys have seen my edge up video, how to do an edge up, I don't typically, especially in that video, I don't do my edge ups like this. One thing I want you guys to know is I have many different techniques that I use. Sometimes I'll use some that you see in the video, sometimes I won't. If you guys ever watch me cut hair in person, you'll see me use a lot of different techniques, a lot of different fade systems. I have about 7 to 10 fade systems that I use. And same thing with the lineup. Like sometimes I start in the middle and then sometimes I don't. It's just rhyme or reason, you know. I don't really know why. I just did it for this video. I honestly can't explain it. I wish I could, but I can't, guys. So for those of you who think that I'm a little bit contradictory, no, I'm not. That's just how I felt at the moment. So now we're just doing this box and we're gonna make sure this is about 90 degrees. You wanna make sure this is 90 degrees when you do these edge ups and have the box here. If it goes a little bit past, then you start looking like Pac-Man, or if you do too little, you're gonna look like Pac-Man. So it's not a good look. So we're just gonna add some fibers. I put the holding spray on and we're just gonna define his line just a little bit more, make it pop. If you're curious, this is Enhanced Hair Fibers by Chuka the Barber. This is darkest brown. This is not black. I've used black on him and sometimes it looks a little bit too unnatural. So I've opted with him to use the darkest brown. And I think it comes out more natural using the darkest brown. And it's the same thing if I'm using the Kiss Express. I like to use darkest brown or medium brown and put a couple of drops of black in there. That's just what I do. So if you guys are curious, but it's really rare to see me do enhancements in videos, really, because he's one of the very few clients that I have where I use enhancements. So now after I did the enhancements, we're gonna come back here and just touch it up. Just make sure the line is extra clean. Just passing it over with the trimmers and just making sure all of the lines are perfect. And I'm reapplying the holding spray just to lock it in. And now we're gonna sponge his hair up. So let me know what you guys think. Any of the tools you see in this video, I'll link all that stuff in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Man, appreciate y'all for watching. Man, I just thought about something. I haven't posted a haircut on here on YouTube of me cutting somebody that's black in a long time. Wow, okay, so yeah, let me know if y'all want to see me cut more black people on the channel. Dang, I'm like, dang, showing no love to the black people. But let me know what you guys think as you see the little 360 spin move and you get a couple other little close-up shots. Share it if you care for it. That made no sense. But share if you care, man. I will be dropping haircuts, as you know. I'm always dropping videos. It's been your man, I Do It, signing out, and I'll holla.